Hello everyone, John Cleese here with Lake Effect Garden Design, and we are here in Douglas, Michigan, just off of Lake Michigan, and we're in this beautiful little development here, and we're putting in almost really a 100% native garden for the most part. But what I think is really interesting about this project is most of us have seen big wild gardens, but you can use native planting in a small space like this. So you can see it's a very little lot here. There is some grass. All we're doing is working with the existing beds. We have a sidewalk here, obviously a public sidewalk. One thing that's important, of course, with native plants is they can get very big. So we chose some Carex grasses down here that'll stay short, and Foamflower, which is a spring blooming plant. But this will really not get much more higher than what you see here. All of you know coral bells. This is actually the native version of the coral bell. So we thought this would be really great here along the picket fence and along the sidewalk. And on the back side, so facing the homeowners, we went ahead and we're going to allow a little bit more height to come in here with the plants. So we have Foxglove, which a lot of people know, and we have little bluestem grass, which we're going to scatter all through here. And that Foxglove will get this big in the springtime. It's a great plant for early pollinators. So it's one of the things that we're trying to put into the garden as much as possible. It really helps bridge that gap from the spring flowers to really the early summer bloomers. And then we can get into, lots of native plants are blooming in the summertime. But Foxglove is an excellent early season plant for the pollinators. And then basically we have two beds here that we're doing on either side of this beautiful little cottage. I don't think we've shown this before, but everybody really knows butterfly weed. It is a native, and some of you planted it, maybe didn't even know it was a native, but orange butterfly weed is a great plant for the monarch, and it's just beautiful. And once this blooms, it gets some great seed pods. So in this little garden here, we're just doing a big mass of the butterfly. That's going to be the main thing. And then we've got some beautiful liatris that's coming in here. So we'll have some purple spikes in here. This is black-eyed Susan. So we'll have really nice black-eyed Susans around here, and that's yellow. So we'll have the orange and the purple and the yellow. And then in the back, we've got our biggest bluestem grass, our big bluestem that'll fill in this whole area in the back once that grows in. And then we have foxglove in the back as well, some of those higher plants there. So because native gardens sometimes are seen as being really wild, remember, a native isn't necessarily a style, it's a plant. So if you want something a little more formal, and this neighborhood isn't super formal, but obviously we've got small spaces. So what we're going to do here is really mimic the garden that we've got here on the left side of the steps, and we're going to mimic it over here on the right. So there's nothing that's going to be on this side that's not going to be on this side. And you want to just, when you're working on your garden design, make sure that you scatter the same plants around the same area. Otherwise, it gets just a little bit disjointed for people. And your eye wants to sort of rest and see the same thing scattered throughout your plant. And with every garden, we always have some problem areas. And lots of us have trees with a lot of dense roots that are packed around them, and it gets very dry under these trees. So we have a weeping cherry here. So what we're using is another Carex grass that doesn't need a lot of moisture. It doesn't mind being dried out. So we're planting that all along the root base here under this cherry tree. And we'll scatter in a few other things. But again, the nice thing about working with plugs is we can get in between those roots, and we don't have to worry about chopping things and trying to get any big plants in there. So all of that, and I believe that's an Appalachia sedge, which is all going to be under this tree. Again, it likes it dry, it doesn't mind the shade, so it's a perfect thing to plant if you've got trees with a lot of dense roots. And don't forget, when you're digging, you can see these guys digging. Oftentimes we will break through we'll break through cable wires, we'll break through, you name it, but just be careful. Make sure you call somebody before you start digging. We can break anything that you've got out in the ground. Here is probably the only non-native. This is a hybrid here, and you all have seen this before if you've seen the videos. We really love the oak leaf hydrangea. So these are, I think this variety, this is Alice in Wonderland, and Alice in Wonderland gets about 5 by 5 or 6 feet by 6 feet. So this will really become a nice little hedge here up against this lattice. And then we have some native honeysuckle that we're going to grow up this lattice as well, just to get a bit of color in the background.